Hey everybody, Chris Petracchi here for Aki Visual Art, and today we're going to paint Wonder Woman in the awesome ArtRage 5. So get ready. And one thing I'm going to do is talk about values, and I'm going to talk about painting out of the gray. So I first heard of that term, painting out of the gray, by John Watkiss, who's no longer with us. But when he mentioned that, painting out of the gray, I really didn't know what he was talking about. And to me, that means painting out of the gray. It means toning my canvas first with kind of a neutral, maybe 50% gray in value, and then painting out of that. And the advantage of painting out of that is that you control your values and you control your color. So when you start from a 50% gray and you work out of that gradually, putting on your dark shadow shapes, and then putting on the light shadow shapes, or sorry, putting on the light shapes, you can bring it up gradually. It emerges out of a fog almost, and it's much easier to control things that way. And I found that to be very helpful, because if I just jump in with pure black or pure white, it's such a wide spectrum, and then you have to fill in everything in between, and things can be a little unwieldy at that point all the way through. So if I let it emerge and mistakes occur, it's pretty quick fix. If my values are within a certain value range at the beginning, let's say 50%, something like, 60 to 40 at the beginning, and then you build out from there, 70 to 30 and 80 to 20, and then finally you're into 100% black, 100% white as it emerges out. And so I find that pleasing to paint that way, because it's like a photo in the darkroom. And when you're mixing the photograph paper in the chemicals, you can see it emerge before your eyes, and I just love that. And like I said, it's like an image emerging from the fog, and to me that's magical and rewarding to paint that way. So that's what I'm doing here. And so I've established my dark shapes in the family of darks, and then gone ahead and put in the family of lights and kept those separate. And that's my tonal structure. That's my foundation of the painting, that it's already set. So I'm quite likely to succeed if I don't make any major mistakes with value. And so I'm squinting and I'm comparing. That's the painter's trick. Always squint and compare. I find that to be a reliable tool for me. So I'm in ArtRage 5, and I'm using their awesome oil painting brush. It's a beautiful brush. Okay, that's mainly why I use ArtRage, is because of the oil painting brush. I just love the way the paints mix. I love the texture and so on. So all I do is, when I'm using the oil painting brushes, I just go back and forth on the thinners. So there's pressure thinners and loading. You can see on the tool palette on the right. And so I just go up and down with the thinner. If I want thinner paint, I go to the right. If I want thicker paint, I pull that down to the left. And it's really easy, and it really looks like oil paint to me. I don't have to do anything to get it there. I don't have to mess with the brushes too much at all. So it's simple, it's fast, and it gets the job done. And then I use the palette knife a little bit, and you can paint with the palette knife, so it loads on paint, or you can take existing paint and just scrape it or smear it around like a traditional palette knife would do. You can also blur the line or blur the paint as if you're adding medium or adding water, and it just takes the paint and spreads it out over the surface and softens up lines, softens up transitions from one value to the next and making it smooth, like a gradation. And I find that very helpful. And then I'll use the pen tool and to get really nice crisp lines, so for my line work. And that has a smoothing option on it, which I turned off for this because I don't want smooth pen and ink lines. I just wanted some control over the thick and thinness of the line that the oil paint brush is hard to get. And so that's kind of like my working process, pretty simple, and I try to keep it simple so I can just get to work. So man, I loved that Wonder Woman movie. I hope you did too. Did it touch you? Yeah, it got to me too. It was really well done, great story, and I just wanted to paint this as a tribute to Wonder Woman and show what ArtRage could do as well. I love the chiaroscuro of this image where you have that nice light side and then it goes into darkness. Not quite as dark as a Caravaggio painting, but still had that full value range with a nice gradation from the light side of the face to the dark side. It's got kind of an abstract background, and so I can target one area with lots of detail and just pump up that right side eye and highlight, and that cheek, the beautiful cheek and lips, and then kind of let the other stuff fade out. So on the light side, I'm looking for structure and color, and on the dark side, I'm just looking for shape and value, more or less, with a little bit of color. And so that's how I'm treating both, or each side, a little bit differently. And you know, once I get my values, my shapes, my values, and then I go for my edges and I assess my edges very simply. Is it a hard edge or a soft edge? And then I try to make it so. And then there's material indication. So you've got that beautiful fleshy cheek, and then you've got the metallic thing she's wearing, whatever her Wonder Woman headgear that she's wearing, and the hair and the shield. So basically you have some different surface material indication there. And on her headgear, it's kind of like a, you know, brushed metal. So the way that I apply the value on there is, at first I did circular motions, because when they would make something like that, they would finish it off to a nice shiny surface by brushing it in a circular way and burnishing it until it buffed out. So that's one way to consider doing the metal, the metallic things, just using little tiny circular movements. And there's also a specular highlight on that. And so it's very shiny, much like almost the shine that comes off the wet pupil surface of the cornea of the eye. It's very specular, very bright. really important just to watch the values in the shadow side, because when you squint down, there's not a lot there, and the tendency is to overpaint for me in the shadow side. So I want to just keep it really simple, so all the detail is in the light side and you look there. And if I give you all that beautiful eye, cheek, light moving across the cheek, highlight on the lips, the nose, on the light side, you'll just buy, I don't have to paint the dark side. You'll just buy off on that everything's there. It'll seem like everything's there, and you won't really, the viewer won't really question it. It's as if I've given them everything, but in fact I've just painted part of the image. So that's about it. Thanks a lot. Remember to like and subscribe, and I hope that you liked this video and it helps you. See you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.